Daredevil delayed again. Daredevil Born Again is now not coming out until at least 2025. And I use the term at least. Now, it was all the way back in 2022 when they announced with great fanfare and excitement that Daredevil, the kind of Netflix Daredevil, but not exactly the Netflix Daredevil, is coming over to Disney Plus with an 18-episode season. Not like that bullcrap 6-episode shit they keep giving us, but an 18-episode season. Daredevil's coming every Saturday. It's going to come 2024. Well, or it's going to come in 2023. Well, guess what? We heard then that initial hopeful projections 2022 got kind of moved to 2024, and now it ain't even coming out in 2024. This comes to us from the folks over at Screen Rant who write the following. In a post on Disney.com, it seems this suspected delay is all now but confirmed. The post in question details the major Disney Plus releases coming in 2024 from the efforts of Star Wars and the MCU to Disney's various other productions. Concerning the Marvel Studios franchise, the only projects listed for the MCU are Echo, Agatha Darkhold Diaries, and the animated X-Men 97. So only 2 live action series in 2024 to go along with only 1 movie, Deadpool 3. After the damning report on the status of Daredevil, and we'll talk about that in a minute, production in September 2023 hinted at a delay of the show's initially planned 2024 release, and it seems it has been officially confirmed via the House of Mouse itself. Okay, so we initially saw that there was some problems in Hell's Kitchen when production would get held up by the writer's strike. Now, really, it shouldn't have held it up because the scripts were written for Daredevil, but the writers, were totally within their right, decided to protest and march in front of Daredevil production sites, and it just shut the production down. And that continued on. Then, of course, the actor strike happened, all that kind of stuff. So we all started to suspect, well, maybe this thing might get delayed. But then came the big thing, and we all remember this, when they just scrapped the whole show, or at least practically the whole show. They stepped in and said, you know what? This does not live up to our standards. We can't afford to drop the ball on Daredevil. This is not up to what used to be the MCU quality. And they just decided, you know what? Instead of just trying to fine tune it and move some things around in post, we're going to go back to the drawing board. Now, they did say there was a couple things they're going to keep from stuff they've already shot. So they're going to try to salvage as much as they can. But they brought in a brand new writer. They said they're bringing in a brand new showrunner. For the first time ever, they were going to have a showrunner, because that Disney Plus hadn't used showrunners up till this point. And they were going to do all this kind of stuff and do it right. And that's when most people went, there's not really any chance that this thing's going to come out in 2024, is there? But still, hope remained. Hope remained. Well, that hope is now gone. It's not coming out till at least 2025. And I say at least because we haven't heard that they've now got a script ready to go. We don't know how long it's going to take them to develop this. I mean, I think there's a very real possibility this thing may not come out until maybe early 2026. But that fear that they had, that we can't afford to drop the ball on Daredevil. Secret Invasion comes out and craps the bed. It's unfortunate. It does hurt our brand, but it's not like everybody in the world was sitting on pins and needles waiting for Secret Invasion. The world is sitting on pins and needles waiting to see Daredevil. And you can't mess it up. You can't. Especially with the state. Like if we were back in 2018 when Marvel was still riding high and every freaking thing Marvel put out was a smash hit with the audiences, with the critics, with the box office. Well, yeah, you could put out a crappy Daredevil show and you'd be okay. But not now, because you're not riding high with the audiences. The overall perception of Marvel has never been lower. It's still not terrible, but it's never been lower. And you come out and put out a crappy Daredevil show in that environment? Shit, son, that could kill you. So, I mean, it sucks. I think we all expected it wouldn't come out in 2024. We want to take a moment and thank the sponsor of this video, MasterClass. Guys, as a small business owner, I am finding myself having to be in negotiations all the time, whether it's with new contractors, vendors, or even agencies that represent our company. Now, I don't like to go into these negotiations unarmed, so I found the perfect class on MasterClass, The Art of Negotiation by Chris Voss, a real-life former FBI lead hostage negotiator. Taking this class on MasterClass made me feel a lot more equipped and confident going into all these various negotiations I have to do on a regular basis. MasterClass makes a meaningful gift this season for you and anyone on your list, because both of you can learn from the best to become your best, from leadership to effective communication to cooking. Every instructor, thousands of online lessons, exclusive content, insight, and much more. There are over 180 classes to pick from, everything from filmmaking with Martin Scorsese all the way to cooking with the great Gordon Ramsay. In MasterClass, you will find practical lessons that you can apply to your life and work. This holiday season, give one annual membership and get one free at masterclass.com/Campea. Right now, you can get 2 memberships for the price of one at masterclass.com/Campea. masterclass.com/Campea. Offer terms apply. Rob, there's a couple of interesting things here. Number one, the fact that it is now officials, Disney saying, here's what's coming out in 2024, and Daredevil ain't one of them.
No.
How are we feeling about that? Also, how are we feeling about what they do have coming up? I mean, in terms of live action, we've got Agatha and we've got Echo, who I've never seen public perception on a show turn around over a trailer.
Well,
like we've seen with Echo. Anyway, what are you feeling about all this?
Well, first of all, any franchise is only one great show or movie away from being on top again. And that Echo trailer was definitely a banger. I mean, you and I, we've not expressed enthusiasm for an Echo show, to say the least. But after seeing that trailer, I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, that trailer.
I'm in. I mean, pressed all my crime thriller buttons and all that. Agatha, whatever. It's fine. I'd have to see more of it to make a decision. I thought that behind-the-scenes thing was interesting. It left me a little optimistic. But in terms of Daredevil, they already screwed up that show, and they pulled the plug. And I think that they're retooling it and starting from scratch. I think that's a really great step in the right direction. It actually makes me more excited for the retooling, because here's the thing. I don't care how long it takes to get us something, as long as the results are good. I'm not going to be bummed out. I'll find something else to do in 2024 rather than I'll read a book, John, or 3. I don't need necessarily to see another half-baked superhero show. And the thing is, Daredevil is coming on the heels of 3 very, I thought, maybe not every moment was as great as certain other moments, but the 3 seasons of Daredevil were very respectable. And
I loved them. I
enjoyed them, and I thought that was a really fine show, and that is the bar, man. And if we're not going to get at least that, why bother? Why bother? And I think they know that. I think this was smart. I think this is exactly what the MCU's got to do. They got to make sure that we don't get any more lackluster product that people are shoving down a pipeline because they need to do it. And I think it's smart. I think and Charlie Cox deserves better, man. His Daredevil's awesome.
Yeah, and listen, I've said this before, I will say it again. With all the problems that me and a lot of people had with She-Hulk, Charlie Cox's Daredevil was not one of those problems.
No.
I mean, Charlie Cox brought some of the few bright moments, I think, to that show. And listen, and as much as I didn't like She-Hulk, by the way, I wouldn't mind seeing that couple on screen again. I wouldn't mind seeing the character's name. Tatiana played Jennifer, right? That's the
yeah. Right.
I wouldn't mind seeing Jennifer and Matt on screen. I liked their dynamic. Again, for me, it was one of the few bright spots in a painfully unfunny show. So it'd be kind of cool to see that. I'm actually still I'm a little bit different than you on this. I'm very excited for Agatha. I was enthralled with the character in the show. It is still a new dark corner in the MCU that they haven't really explored, witchcraft. And I love that one scene in WandaVision when they did the flashback to Salem. And
yeah, look.
A lot of possibilities there.
My only thing is this. It's the tone of it. Now, She-Hulk, I thought She-Hulk the people that were making it, that were writing that show, the showrunner, didn't understand the show they were making because it changed from episode to episode. I'm like, what is this? And it was disappointing because they had such rich source material going back to that John Byrne run. They could have made it work. I feel the same way now that I have seen She-Hulk that I feel about Agatha. That's a tough tone with Catherine Hahn. They have an incredible performer. I love her. I want to love this show, but the tone of it has to be right. And they're delving hardcore into the supernatural like they did with Man-Thing, like they promised to do with Blade. So I think it has a lot of heavy lifting to do in terms of setting up the supernatural aspects of the Marvel Universe that I hope are great. Please be good.
Yeah, and I think they're going to crush it. I really do. I have a lot more hope in it than I do in Echo.
If it's Darkhold Diaries, I'm assuming it's a prequel to Multiverse of Madness because the Darkhold's gone.
No, it's not. It apparently it is a continuation of WandaVision. It's what happens after the events of WandaVision.
But there's no Darkhold anymore. But
we'll
find out.
Well, that we know of.
Yeah.
Right.
So we'll see. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.